Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for that.
Yes. And I just want to
Without him,
thank
I
the
would.
Lord for you because, you have some really powerful lyrics. And, today
Thank you.
I feel like we're lacking substance. You've been my bro for I don't know how long, but I have
Yeah, it's
never
getting
heard
up
you like this.
there.
And I remember listening to it for the first time in the car. And I was just like, whoa, this is my bro. Like, I didn't know he just snapped, so your name is J Wisco, capital J, capital Wisco. So tell me a little bit behind your name, J Wisco.
Well, actually, it's ironic because it used to be Wisco. It used to be just Wisco. And then there's this guy out there who I had the name ready to like be on its own. Like I was going to be the only sole owner of that name. And me and you were working on our project. And when I realized that you moved away, I typed my name back in that little what's it called?
Just like Google it, or to check like copyright.
Yeah, like a database. Yeah,
and trademark.
On DistroKid, yes, and it had another person, and I was like, oh man, I just missed it. And so and he's not even from Wisconsin, I don't think.
So Wisco is short for Wisconsin.
Yes. Yeah, so
okay.
Because I'm from Wisconsin, it's named after obviously the J's for Jonathan, J Wisco for the state.
All right, so you're repping your state hard. I see. Okay.
Yes, it's like that. It's a mad rep because Wisconsin gets slept on in a lot of different areas. Some are good areas, some are bad areas, but we get slept on a lot of different areas. So yeah, man, just acknowledging that Wisconsin's still a state, man. I remember when I moved to for real, man. Like I remember when I moved to Texas, people were like I kid you not, some kid was like, Wisconsin that's in North Dakota, right? And I was like, yo, like, are you serious?
I mean, we won't talk about our lack of geography skills in America, only because ninth grade, or they have cut out geography from the curriculum, so we won't hold that against that poor soul. But let's talk a little bit about your songs. So you have 3 songs that you can currently find on those platforms like Spotify, iTunes. Are there any others that I've missed?
Yeah, you can find them on YouTube, Apple Music, Tidal.
Okay. Tidal. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty much any main
Tell J and B I said what's up.
It's not on Pandora.
Okay.
I don't believe. That I have. Not yet. I should say it's not on Pandora yet.
Okay, so you released 3 songs, right? You have Life Support, featuring Beezy the Animal, Loved Ones and Strangers, and Cameraman.
Yes.
So those songs, man, they are so lyrically packed. What would you say is like your genre or your theme? What inspires you to write?
In terms of lyricism, I would say, there's a few things. I take pride in old telling stories. Like, I think, like you said, like the game has gotten away from lyricism because they focus on how you sound. And so while everybody's doing that, that's good if not everybody does it. And the problem is I think too many people are doing it. So, I kind of go to more telling a story. And I really always been a good storyteller in terms of just I like to write. Let me rephrase it. I hate writing, but I like to write, if that makes sense. I hate the physical writing part, but I like to put my ideas on paper. I really like that. So I guess from just telling the story, I just try to focus on that. Like, what's a story that I know is important, and each song has a different story. I don't like to put the same exact content in the song so it doesn't get repetitive and redundant or didactic.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Life Support. What's the story there? I want to start by reading a couple lines from it that had me kind of shook. So it opens up saying, "Shout out to the struggling, subtle, deep MFers in the industry. Shout out to the hustling puddle, deep, hungry vulture looking for cheese, running this industry, flowing over beats like the MC is hungry as he." Man, like. And then you go on later in the song to say that I plowed through the week, lyrical locomotive with locomotives, boast the coldest of beats. Oh, I got just all messed up.
It's like the lyrical locomotive with locomotives to boast as the coldest of poets, colder than polars of winter solstice. The soul is cold as the dead, cold as the living, dead or alive. I'm the coldest on spitting.
And don't you open up that song like, why y'all always give the loudest person in the room the mic?
Yeah, the loudest.
What did you mean by that? Like,
I don't know if we're supposed to swear I did the podcast, but man, that is like, you know, I've always been a loud person, and like the one area that I don't think a lot of people see me doing is rap, because I never ever really talked about it. Like you said, like not a lot of people really know that I can rap, or that I really put effort into rapping. I don't know if I can say I can rap yet, because I don't know if I deserve that yet. There's people who can rhyme, and then there's rappers, and I'm trying to be a rapper. And I still have a little ways to go there, but I do say that I don't know that loudest motherfucker in the room, or loudest blah 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 in the room, you know, like it's letting people know that, like, dang, y'all if I'm in the game, watch out, because it's like everybody's in the game now. If I'm in the game, like, dang, y'all let me in the game. And then you got my boy Beezy, who, you know, honestly, what's crazy about him is that he spit his verse in one take.
What?
One take off the top of his head. Nothing written down. It's crazy. Like, I mean, this guy.
I like that you mentioned that. It shows that there's so much, you know. It's so dynamic, however you do your creative process. Like, there's not one way to do it. There's not one right way to do it. Not one respected way to do it. You know, like, you sit down, you write your 16 bars and somebody else come off the dome. But as long as the lyric's hot, the flow is good, the delivery and the content is on time with the beat, then, you know, how you get it done is neither here nor there. But there's processes for different people. Okay. So tell me a bit about the story of Life Support. What are you communicating in that song?
So if I could give like one main thing, it's what people are willing to do to get what they think is success. And it starts off with the vulture. It doesn't start off with the rappers. The first line, it starts off with, you know, respecting people who are really putting their all into this industry. Like, and then it talks about the vulture, the second line, because he is the reason why it is super hard to make it a living as a rapper, because you have to pay so much money to the middleman. And that's what I'm referring to when I say the vulture is like the people who take the money off, like the large chunk of money that they really didn't have anything to do with, you know? And that pops up in various different ways. You can be a vulture in various different ways, but people know what I mean by when I say a vulture. And the vulture is somebody who tries to pretend he's part of the game as well. And that's why I say flowing over beats like the MC is hungry as he, because he pretends to be like he really cares about the game, but all he cares about is the money that the artist is making. That's the first part of it. The second part is, now we get to the rappers. It's like, okay, we could all be on the same team, but we let pride, which is why I say, I seen a figure named Open Your Eyes. I seen a figure named Pride. An insecure shadow followed it as it went. The insecure shadow represents an insecure person. Like, I don't think I have enough, so I have to show people that I have enough. And that is that mindset that divides everybody everybody up. That's the reason why we can't beat the vulture. Is because we're so busy fighting amongst ourselves because we have pride, and so
pride as an artist, kind of like Are you talking about like inner artist competition?
I think when I allude to pride, I mean there's that for sure. That in the hip hop game, there's a competition amongst artists, but a lot of it has to do with we're so busy trying to tear each other down. And it's part of the game. Like part of hip hop, there is that element of competition, and you embrace that. But there's one thing to be competitive. There's another thing to try to go after somebody's money. And I feel like you can be competitive and still, be supportive at the same time.
I think that's an important part. For us to talk about with anybody who's in any field of creativity, that
for sure.
There should always be that desire to be the best. But being the best doesn't necessarily mean you have to cut yourself off from the next. Like collaboration, yes. I feel is very powerful in the life of a creative. And, the most successful people, they don't find themselves cutting themselves off from other successful people, but they find themselves partnering with those people, enlarging their networks, giving them more opportunity to know more people in the field who could, potentially have a good and a great impact on their creative future. So I really love that.
That's exactly what Wisco's World was kind of doing. That's why I have a lot of different people, hopefully yourself as well, featuring on this album, because that's what I was kind of going for. It's like we could all tell the story of what life is like as somebody who's trying to make it successfully. And that was part of it. And then there's obviously the ideal side as well. So it's I don't know. I like what you said there.
So
the network.
One of my favorite songs. Let's move on to another song. I really enjoy. Well, I loved all of them, but Cameraman. I'm a history teacher, so one of your lyrics in the song, I was just like, man, like this is exactly how we need to let people understand that. Everything we see is in someone's frame of mind, someone's picture of what they want us to see and what they want us to know. And so you open up and say, anybody ever wonder who the damn cameraman is?
The damn cameraman, man, especially these days, man. The cameraman.
The cameraman can deceive you, right? Like the cameraman can make you believe whatever you want to believe.
Or camera woman. Yeah.
Or camera woman, right? We mean any human with a camera.
Yeah.
Not all footage is created equal.
Yeah.
And so, tell me a little bit about the story of that song.
So the cameraman, kind of like what you said, it's just like, take notice of who's taking your pictures. Like, understand everything that we do, everything that we see out of a camera, everything that we see is not the entire picture.
Right. Okay.
Which is why I say in the song I say fragments of truth to the best lies, because you can get a part of somebody's story on a camera and associate that person with their life and their life decisions, and that's not always representative. Like you can, just because somebody has a picture one way, or just because somebody is in front of the camera one way doesn't necessarily mean that that's who they are. But if you're going to judge it like that, then make sure that you're judging it like that consistently.
Yeah.
I guess that's what the whole purpose was. Like,
right.
If you're going to live your life through a camera, live it like that consistently, or don't live it like that at all.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing about the cameraman song is, how do we see injustice with, and I hate to be mean about it, but like cops, but then we look at Tekashi on video and look at his lyrics and judge him for that. Like we see cops do crazy stuff on video, but we look at lyrics and
we kind of look at lyrics almost as as equate them as more violent than actual violence that's perpetrated against people.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying with the camera. You see that though. You see the violence. I don't know. That's wild to me.
Okay. So what about your last song, Loved Ones and Strangers?